I'll talk to ChatGPT and be like, okay, well, you just heard, I just told you this whole situation, right? Don't you think this means my husband, kind of, not really, kind of, definitely hates me, or at the very least resents me for something, doesn't like me? I mean, the facts are there, right? He's calling me a bitch. I'm pregnant with a son. He called me a bitch last time I was pregnant with his daughter. He flipped a plate of food in my face. He's making these little micro expressions on his face that are like, the same kind of stuff that I was seeing while he was cheating before. He's saying the same weird mystical stuff that he said before. Now he's kind of, what's the word? Alluding to him going back to jail, getting back in trouble again. Just like he did before when he was joking that he was in the back of a cop car. When I was like 7 months pregnant. Yeah. He's doing the same shit. But now it's just getting worse. Now it's just like blatantly, we have sex. He doesn't care to be gentle or anything. He just wants to get in. And when he finishes, he's done. And then he's making excuses why we don't need to continue, or this, that, and the other. I don't care anymore. I don't care to get cheated on again. Won't be the first time with him. With him, it wasn't the first time I ever got cheated on. With my ex, it wasn't the first time I got cheated on. I don't care about that. He clearly has wandering eyes. He wants attention from everybody under the sun. He doesn't care who it is or what it costs him. Something's mentally wrong with him. Don't have to care about that. He'd rather spend money on weed than buy his daughter diapers or food. Yeah, I know all this. Now it just so happens that by the time I have fully comprehended everything that I've been seeing, now we're married. Excuse me. So that's great. Yes, my own father hated me, hated my guts, found joy in my agony, and did things purposely to make me suffer and try to fuck me up. And I actually somehow thought that, I don't know, by the grace of God, I married a man who was totally different than that. But maybe my husband is the exact same level of evil as my dad. And I'm just like perceiving it differently. Because, I don't know, I've become an adult. I'm not a teenager anymore. I have a bit more like freedom. more knowledge, so maybe the same things that I went through are not like affecting me as badly, because like I can put a name on it, or I can like call it out while it's happening, but that doesn't mean it's not still, you know, equally as bad. But yeah, I don't feel loved. I don't feel appreciated. Ugh, I feel very alone. I don't feel like him and I are family. I feel like it's he has a family and then there's just me and his children. I don't think he sees our children as his family. That would be the same situation that I grew up in. The exact same one. So, what cycle am I breaking? All the pressure I put on myself to the point where I had multiple mental breakdowns just to think I was breaking the cycle, but then wake up one day and realize I'm in the exact situation, and also my daughter is growing up in the exact same environment. Yeah. Then I go back and forth like, could it really be that bad? You know, sure, my husband has waved his gun and shown off his gun to me. Not when back when he was my boyfriend. But I didn't react in fear or whatever, so he never did it again. But you know, it's just the same theme of like testing, kind of, to see what I'll react to, how I'll react to it. The same like sadistic type of thing that my dad would do. I don't know. And then, you know, I'm here. I've been living here consistently for how many months now? 4, maybe 4 months consistently, like nightly, or like most days out of the month. And I'm still having a very hard time living alone, mentally, still having nightmares like about my dad or like about him, like chasing me or trying to hurt me, hurting children, taking me away from my daughter, stuff to this effect, like hunting me down type of stuff. The same nightmares I had growing up, but it's just different now because, ugh, the last nightmare I had was so disturbing because, like in the last video, I randomly started talking about like the space heater in that back room and how it had blew out. So that was the night, or like after that, when I went to bed that night, because the space heater blew out the fuse, and then the Wi-Fi went off, and some lights, like the lights connected to that, went off very suddenly. And I panicked a little bit, but I know how to switch the breaker back on. And I did that, got over it, or so I thought. But then I go to sleep and I have a dream that's like mimicking the darkness of, like, the darkness, my light's not working, feeling a presence in the house and my lights won't turn on, and I feel like somebody's disturbed the lights. And then basically, like, at this point I can't remember, I just specifically remember the end because I remember telling my husband about it. The ending was like, okay, those dreams where like it's you doing things that you would normally do, like getting up, waking up, looking around, or something like that. So in the dream, I was like waking up, and it was like early morning or something, but my lights weren't working, and I was feeling a presence in the house. And then it was like my dad, he had turned the lights off on purpose and was hiding, I guess like in the bathroom or something. And then he had like a huge like sword. And then it's him flashing. I see him, and so I try to close the door real quick and lock it, but then it's too late. My daughter is here in the bed, or standing up in the crib, wherever she was in the dream. And then like I ran to her and screamed and grabbed her, and then he like stabbed me in the back. And then I was screaming, holding my daughter while I'm dying. I don't know, y'all. I don't want to see no comments being like, oh my gosh, like, if you're like having nightmares like that, you need help, or maybe you can't live alone right now. Maybe you shouldn't. But this is what everyone was pushing me to. I need to grow up. I'm a mom. I need my own place, So that part of it is frustrating too, like kind of getting like bullied for still living at home in my mid-20s. And then like this is kind of like the result that I get living at home. Just like I don't feel any safer. In fact, it got worse. everything got worse. And like maybe I said this before, but like back when it was me staying with my daughter at my dad's, when it was just me and my dad, that's when like I had the first like nightmare, whatever, of me like killing him or whatever, and like running and the whole, you know, how random people show up in your dream. Like my best friend from childhood was there, and then like I just ended up sacrificing being able to be there for my daughter because I gave myself up to the freaking police in the dream. So, and back then at that point, I was sleeping with a knife under my bed or under my pillow because I was that scared. And this is before I even knew about the gun in the house. So, you know, I'm still dealing with that. I wouldn't say I'm just sitting here just trying to like get over it or whatever, or ignore it, but like as it's not going away, I'm kind of like, wow, I don't like living alone. I'm scared. I'm paranoid. I'm in a new town. I don't have a vehicle. I have my daughter here to protect. So yeah, of course, like the paranoia hasn't stopped. Do I talk to anybody about this kind of stuff? Like, not to this point where I'm like crying or showing that I'm upset over it. I had started talking to my therapist about it, and she was just like, well, it could be trauma related, but this is when I was like first trying to sleep here, and I was waking up and like seeing the fan in the dark, and I was thinking like it was a person standing over me or like something standing over me to hurt me. And so I would wake up swinging my arm out, like to try and like hit whatever it was. And then it's like, and then I kind of come to my senses, and it's like, God, it's just the fan. Like, but you know, like behind the scenes, I'm dealing with that, which is completely brand new. This stuff is just like happening for the first time since I've moved here alone. So I'm dealing with that. I'm scared all the freaking time for no reason, because this is like a great neighborhood. Like there's kids everywhere. There's a toddler in the apartment above me. The other people have a whole bunch of dogs. The school, the high school, is literally right down the street. There's kids everywhere. There's kids everywhere. This neighborhood is quiet at night. All of that. So it's not it's not nothing in the actual environment like doing anything to make me scared. So I feel like that adds an extra layer of frustration. Like, so yeah, I would rather be home at my husband's, like sleeping with my husband, so I'm not scared at night, or like just being in the house with other people, just in general. And I'm telling y'all, like when I was younger, I loved when my parents would leave the house. Like they would leave to go to the store, and I would be paranoid that there was still someone in the house. And so I would literally watch them out the blinds, bro. I would watch my parents, make sure I see the car leaving and turning out the driveway, backing out, and driving down the street, right? I'm watching through the blinds, like peeking through the blinds. And then I would wait, and then I would leave my room and go through every room in the house. Bro, and as I'm saying this shit, it sounds insane. And I cannot believe I did this so many times, or just like felt the need to even do this. Because even saying it now is so weird. But I would like leave my room. I would go in my parents' room and make sure it's actually empty. Then I would go in my mom's office. Then I'd go in the bathroom. Then I'd go down the hall. Then I'd look in the living room. Look in the kitchen. Sometimes I would look out the freaking back door of the kitchen. And then I would go downstairs, look in the basement. And then I would actually go out into the garage and make sure the car was actually gone from the spot. And then I would go about, like being able to shower without like dealing with all the shower harassment, like the banging on the doors, the timing, the time the showers. Just take a shower in peace. Or just rush to do anything, and I don't know, just feel like I'm not being watched or monitored, or I don't know. I don't even know at this point. But when I moved in here, I started getting so paranoid. I was doing it again, and now I'm alone. Like, leaving my room, swearing that somebody's here, like feeling some kind of presence here that's not supposed to be here, hearing something, whatever. And then pacing around the apartment. This apartment isn't that big. Like, I could see out of my door, like I could see into the kitchen, right? But I would still like go through every room and kind of like just scan around the apartment to make sure really no one's there. When I was supposed to be sleeping. So I don't know. I don't know why I bring that up, but obviously I don't like having to remove myself suddenly in situations where I'm arguing with my husband, but sometimes it's just like I don't really have another choice, because if shit is escalating and I just stick around and act like it's okay, well, what is that saying? So that's why usually I wouldn't up and leave without my daughter. Any other time I left, I just brought her with me. But this time I'm just like, well, yeah, bitches don't take care of their children, do they? No, they don't. So you called me a bitch. I can only be a bitch or the mother of your children. I can't be both. So if you choose bitch, then I won't be the mother of your children. You know what I mean? Obviously, like I said, I let him know when I come back to get her, we're not coming back. We're not coming back. Their lease is up March 1st. They're moving to a house that's probably going to be just like down the street or something. I don't know if me and my daughter will ever see that house. I don't know. I really don't know. And I honestly regret when I got that lump sum of money. I truly regret not just biting the bullet and just moving across the country. That's what I wanted to do. I really just, he was in jail. It was just horrible. I just wanted to, I'm like, I'm going to be alone anyway. I'm going to be struggling anyway. I might as well like have a fresh start. Somewhere new, somewhere sunny. I was looking at like New Mexico, Arizona, like warm, sunny type places. Because that's where I always wanted to live. But I don't know. I genuinely regret not doing that now. Because was it worth it having my brother help me, move out with U-Haul instead of like paying movers or whatever? I just feel like it wasn't even worth it. The whole discussion back and forth I had to have with him, where he was trying to force me to talk to our father for no reason after what he'd done, like it didn't happen. I don't know if I even mentioned this ever in one of these videos, but when I let my brother know, okay, like I need to get my stuff from dad's because I have secured an apartment. So I'm gonna get a U-Haul. Like I kind of need help. I don't really know how to do that. He's moved before, obviously. This is my first time moving out. Whatever. So he was like, he told me to tell our dad that he was going to be there with a U-Haul. And then for some reason, I had to go back and forth with him on this. Where I politely said, can you please let him know? It's just so odd. Why are you telling your sister to tell you guys' dad that you're gonna be there with a U-Haul to get her stuff? You know what I mean? What other time have you told me to tell him that you're going to show up? Even aside from the fact that this man held me up with a gun 10 feet away from my daughter, 6 months old, behind me. Leading to us being homeless for no reason because he was hiding money. My brother had already got his portion that my mom had set aside for him, right? I don't know where it was from. I don't know if it was her life insurance, if it was her will. I don't know what it was. She had money for both of us that my dad got access to as her beneficiary, I suppose. So he had already had his money for I still don't know how long. I found out that this money even existed after we were already in the fucking shelter. When I was pushing my daughter down and up the fucking hill in the freaking heat to go to Kroger to get our WIC stuff in her fucking stroller with groceries and her baby food. Panicking. Looking on Facebook for free formula because I had to choose between buying diapers or buying formula or getting free formula for somebody on Facebook and using my last couple dollars to get a fucking Uber to get the free formula so I could save that money and buy her after he finds out all of that and some more shit. Still, now you're trying to make me speak to him for no reason. Then we get to the U-Haul place. He's sighing, huffing, and puffing because I don't know what I'm doing. Because this is my first time getting a U-Haul I don't drive. I've never moved. And then that's why eventually, like, I stopped even doing the driving lessons with my brother because it was just like, it was always something. Just always something, just like an air of disgust with me for no reason because we had just started talking for real in our adult life after my mom passed away. So I'm 25 and he's 34, and we're just starting to speak to each other like on a daily or consistent basis. And that's how he decides to interact with me. Because of whatever lies were being spread behind my back or whatever, whatnot. I don't know. Just the same deal where people are making me look like liars behind my back, so people are getting an attitude with me for no reason. Yeah, you expect it from somebody else's family and like strangers and stuff. You don't expect it from your own family, especially when you know it's not anything that you could have done because you don't interact with these people. They don't know you and you don't know them. So then you know something's off. But then to be so dense as an adult, to not question anything you get told about a sibling that you don't know for real and you don't talk to is crazy. I don't know. But then, yeah, the last straw with my brother, where I finally did block him because he was kind of like bothering me. Just drops me off here in a different city with a newborn, fresh single mom, dad's in jail, new city, no car, just bye. And he's texting me asking me about bassinets, of all things. But anyway, the last straw with him where I finally blocked my brother is when he sent me, like, he was just reaching out to send me pictures of his newborn baby girl. And it said 3 images. And then I wasn't going to respond to his message, but I was going to heart the pictures because she looked cute in the pictures. And then the first 2 pictures was her, but then the last picture was like taken by him in my dad's living room with my niece, as in my sister's daughter, my niece, my sister, and then our other brother holding the baby. So, you mean to tell me just after that, I just blocked. I just could not. I just said, okay. that's not my family. You know what I mean? I just said, wow, that's not my family. My family's not my family because they're all converged in the living room with their children in the house of the man who terrorized me and my child. And we became homeless, and he was hiding money from me, right? Just to see me feel like a struggling mom when that really wasn't the case. So this man gets to hold a gun up, trap me in the hall. There was no exit. Threaten me with a gun while my daughter's behind me. And somehow you guys are just like, whatever. A couple months later, and just in the living room. And then you feel like it would be a smart idea to send that photo, knowing everything that happened. So yeah, I definitely felt, I don't know if I reacted right then, but like it was so hurtful. It was like disgusting. It was like, well, like they either don't care or don't believe what happened, but it doesn't matter. Glad they're happy. Glad they feel safe bringing their little babies around him. I mean, my niece, she's like 5. But my new niece was only, what, like 3 or 4 months? He did that in the home with my daughter when my daughter was 6 months. Actually, she may have just turned 7 months. But it was giving, well, as long as it's not my child, as long as he doesn't treat me like that, then it's whatever. So, like, the only people I haven't blocked is my other brother, the one that was holding her in the picture. And then my sister and brother's mom. Because, I mean, I don't know. I unfortunately even had to block my mom's aunt. Because all throughout all this horrible shit, she's just like blowing me up, giving me baby advice, trauma dump. I miss your mom so much. Like, you're the only connection to your mom, and I like need to talk to you. I need to text you. It makes me feel better about your mom. Stuff like that while I'm going through all this bullshit. And she just would not stop. Like, sometimes it was like 17 messages in one day. And I'm just going through all this stuff. I had told her, like, I'm just, like, busy with the baby and da-da-da. Months of this until I finally was just like, okay, I just can't anymore. Like, I just need to just protect my peace, whatever it's called. And then I blocked her because I don't have time to answer my aunt's phone calls. And then listen to her start crying to me when I'm going through all this. Because my aunt, she cries a lot. My mom's aunt cries a lot about like missing people. And then she was texting me about people who's dying. And like, I just can't. I just couldn't do it. So I don't know. Yeah. Then this with my husband. He's just a husband by title. He's not really my family. I don't know. This has just been stressful. Like, the situation has gotten better than it was. You know, we're not homeless anymore. I just like can't believe what happened sometimes, and then stuff like this happens, and I don't know. Obviously, this is like very little compared to, I don't know. I don't know compared to what I went through. Yeah, this is kind of little. This is like relationship issues. But now it's turned into um disrespecting me, calling me a bitch, flipping plates in my face, embarrassing me. Letting people make me out to be a liar knowingly. So, what would you call that? You know, facilitating a false narrative, a false negative narrative, false negative perspective, whatever you want to call it, perpetuating that. Now it's turned into like moral assault, right? Could you call, could you call it that? Like, I've never had someone stand in front of me, tell me that someone lied about something that we both know is a lie, but stand there and tell me that you're not going to say anything, that you are literally going to allow your family or anybody to believe that I just lied. Now it's just like there's pit respect, like below the pit level of respect. It's like you're gonna stand there and tell me that you're going to let my brother-in-law think that I just lied when you know I didn't. And I just, bats. Bitch this, bitch that. Okay, whatever. Flip some food in my face. Whatever. But to help actually facilitate in the making me look like a liar, I just, I have to stop and think, wait a second, what purpose would that serve? Is it really just only about his comfort in not going back and forth with his brother? Because he doesn't think it's worth it? Or is this like about to turn into something where you start doing things to me and then lying to people about it so they don't believe me? I'm just thinking, okay, what is this the setup for? Because he's been groomed. Now you're starting to groom me. You groomed me with the plate thing to try and see what my reaction to that one was. I didn't say anything, as in like addressing it, like going off or like screaming, going on and on about it like I normally would with anything else. So then I just acknowledge, like, we're not dumb, we know what happened, and then leave it alone. Then a week later, now you're calling me a bitch. And you're using the same logic you used last week to try and turn it into something else. Because I told you how that transpired. I said, you're a coward. And he said back, repeated, and you're a bitch. But then later on, he tries to say, I said you're acting like one. I didn't call you a bitch. I said you're acting like one. I know what happened. So I'm just wondering, now you're throwing multiple things in at once. What do you set me up for? You just in my face, like I don't know, y'all. I'm sorry to keep repeating it, but you stood there and basically told me it was the same thing as him standing there, looking me in the face and telling me, I am going to make people think you're a liar. Then after that, you called me a bitch. Then after that, you said you didn't call me a bitch. You said I was acting like one. Then you tried to make excuses and be like, look at all the names that you call me, retarded and coward and stupid and that, all that other stuff. Right? I can't be distracted. Then you try to throw me off by accusing me of cheating. On my way out the door. So that's a lot of different things going on in one argument. That's a lot of different tactics. A barrage, I would describe it as. Right? And for what purpose? You keep talking about going back to jail. You're making weird comments. You don't fit in with people. multiple times he's told me, he's been telling me lately that he's kind of like losing his temper with people at work and kind of like being snarky at work. What are you trying to set me up for? I don't know, but whatever it is, whatever he's planning, we'll be sure that his family will be right there, putting money back on his books and listening to him cry and complain from his jail cell, blaming me for everything. When they can't see our daughter, it'll be my fault. When they don't know their grandson, they don't know their nephew, it'll be my fault. Yeah. Like, if that makes you happy. And one thing I cannot stand is to be called a liar when I didn't lie. I can tell you when I lied. People like this don't like that. This is where I start to get so irritated, and I'm like, are they people? Are they really? Or are they demons? Because this is the same script. They say and do the same things. It's the same tactic. They're all parroting the same stuff, all believing the same lies, not using their brains at all, as though they don't have any. It's giving demon, right? So, I don't know. I don't know. But, excuse me. I really don't know. They really don't like when you can call yourself a liar when you've lied. They don't like any type of accountability. All the stuff that I keep hearing is just a major projection. My husband, when he said, one day he had said, well, no, this is a pattern of him saying, like, oh, you hate me, and da da da. Yeah, I have said, I hate you to my husband. Who has not got mad in their toxic relationship and said, I hate you? But this he uses out of context in weird ways when nothing, supposedly he's not done anything wrong. Then he comes out with the you hate me. Why do you hate me so much? Just out of nowhere, when we're having like a normal ass day, the whole why do you hate me so much? You hate me, don't you? That's the same kind of shit my dad stood there or sat there and said to me. You hate me, don't you? I can tell that you hate me. Why do you hate me so much? Just projecting that I hate my own father. But we know how that actually played out, right? I'm happy that everybody is pleased and comfortable with this narrative about me that they're painting. Good for them. I don't know how this benefits or helps them. I don't know. But they are really going to have to find somebody else to do this too. Let's be honest. They want me gone, but they don't want to lose access to my daughter. That's all they really care about. They don't want me there. They don't want me around. They don't like me. I get it. It doesn't have to be said by more than one person. One person has already said, I'm not welcome. I'm not wanted. I'm not family. I'm not seen as nothing. Everyone stood around while it was said. You're in agreement. You're in agreement. It's like for whatever reason, why it benefits them to not like me. Even prior to my husband's whole legal issue. It's always been the same. They could just hide it better. I don't know, y'all. I don't care to be seen as whatever people want to see me as, but witnessing me actively be painted as a liar willingly, to my face, knowing what my dad was doing my whole life apparently. But now my husband's doing it. Now I don't know what to do. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I want to take a long ass walk and just be done. But I'm like, I love my daughter. I'm just starting to start the process of getting to know my son because he's started moving now and stuff. And so, of course, I don't want to leave my children with nobody that's treating me like this. Because how are they going to treat my children? But then I'm like, wow, if this is what it's going to be out here in this world for me, where it's like, okay, no matter where I go or what situation it could be a familial situation, or it could be a work situation, or it could be just an out and about situation. If in all these situations I'm going to be projected onto for some odd reason and get put in a role as like a scapegoat, a liar, a sneak, whatever you want to call it. And so I'm going to be antagonized in all these different situations. I don't know how I'm going to handle that mentally without prescription medication. I won't lie to you. Without sedatives. I don't know. I don't know. And to have the wherewithal to realize, wow, if this continues, I'm going to have to go back on medication to deal with it. And it's not in my head, it's out here. I'm going to have to go on medication to deal with my environment and the people in my environment. I don't know. Like, I don't know if my actual spirit can handle that. I don't know. If I have to, like, go on sedatives, so my brain kind of switches, the chemicals kind of switch my brain a little bit and mellow me out to the point where I don't react to what I'm seeing. Like, I don't want to live like that. Who wants to live like that? It would be so miserable. But would I do that for my children? If I could guarantee that, they wouldn't feel abandoned by me, having to drop them off at daycare or having to leave and go to work or having to do XYZ. I don't know. Because, yeah, I won't lie. I won't lie. When I was on the medication that I was on while I was pregnant, not the whole time, but second trimester. When I was on that medication, Zyprexa, it was like, it was easier. It was just easier to, like, talk myself out of stuff. Like, no, you didn't just see a guy that looked exactly like your boyfriend getting into a vehicle that ended up being a similar vehicle to the one that he was, the one owned by the girl he was cheating on you with while you were at work that one day. No, you couldn't have seen that. And then going to the therapist talking about, well, yeah, I thought I saw, but no, that couldn't have been. Then to find out, like, yeah, he was cheating during that time. He was going out on dates during that time. He was getting driven around by another bitch at that time. But to be so bold as to go somewhere and get food right across from the restaurant that I worked at, I don't think he ever respected me. I don't know what the purpose of pursuing me was. I don't know. I truly have no idea. I don't know what the purpose of him deciding that he actually wanted to take things serious after 5 months of me thinking it was serious. I don't know what that was about. I don't know what this marriage is about. I don't know what our children are about. I know what it's about for me. I don't know what this is about for him. I genuinely do not know. But I'm disturbed, to say the least. Yeah, I don't want to go back there. I don't want to be around my husband anymore. I don't. I just don't. I don't want to be around his family anymore. I haven't ever since I found out about that girl. That was before I even gave birth. So I get my permit probably tomorrow. I should go tomorrow. Take the test real quick, and then Wednesday. Because for some reason, coming out the doctor, the ultrasound place called me, and they were like, they said something about no kids under 12 allowed because of some rule. I'm like, I'm up here by myself. Like, my daughter's 1. Is she going to be able to be there at the ultrasound just in her car seat? And the lady was acting like, oh, I don't have permission to, like, let you know if that's okay or not. You'll have to call. Like, what? I don't know what that was about, but I don't care because, I mean, I don't know. So, yeah. Um, then after that, go and get my daughter, and I don't know. Sign up for the driving lessons, pass the damn test, get my license, buy this car, and get the rest of our stuff from out of there and just be done. I don't know. That's a lot. I can take being called names. All this physical stuff that these men want to try and use to intimidate me, it don't fucking scare me. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, setting up some kind of narrative right in front of my face that I'm a bald-faced liar, or at the very least, like, crazy, like, clinically. It's not even the fact that you letting your wife look like a liar compared to a girl you say you don't care about. That just came into the picture of your family like a couple months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. That's not even the worst of it. But yeah, I don't know. I might chat more just about like whatever's been going on. Like this is what healing looks like. You vent, you have periods of time where you're focused on this event, this event, this event. Then things calm down. You can focus on other stuff. Then something comes up again, and it's like it's just like this. It's not linear, like they say. It's not just like you continue going up. It's like so. I don't know. I might just lay and watch TV. I feel extra useless when my daughter's not here and I don't have her to take care of. I feel like, what the heck did I even do before I was a mom? Like, how did I spend this time?